الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين والصلاة والسلام على أشرف الأنبياء والمرسلين حبيب إله العالمين أبي القاسم المصطفى محمد وعلى أهل بيت الطيبين الطاهرين المعصومين الذين أذهب الله عنهم الرجس وطهرهم تطهيرا. We send our condolences to our Imam al-Mahdi alayhi salam for the demise of Zainab al-Kubra salamullah alayha. And for that occasion, for that reason, we would like to mention another topic related to tafsir of Quran. As you know that Zainab salamullah alayha was one of the mufassirin, and one of the things that she used to do was to teach others, especially obviously classes for ladies, especially for ladies, teaching Quran and the tafsir of Quran. There are many different topics regarding the tafsir of Quran that we should discuss as an introduction to understand what tafsir of Quran means. And those different topics that we're talking about, they need lots of other source of knowledge to understand. It's not like a typical information that you hear from other people on a daily basis or in different even religious lectures. Often these things are not discussed that much. Sometimes if you are after religious studies, then you do know part of these and you are familiar with certain aspects of this topic. However, even if you go to Hawza and you become so-called sheikh, there are still a lot of things related to tafsir of Quran that you do not learn unless you're after it actively and you really want to learn. So people who go to Hawza, mainly they want to learn the knowledge that is related to fiqh and things that are related to fiqh, which is the jurisprudence. And for that reason, yes, you do learn certain things that you could use in the ilm al-tafsir, in the knowledge of the Quran's interpretation and what's the other word for tafsir? Commentary. And there's another word I remember. I forgot now. But if you, sorry? Exegesis. That's right. That's the word I was looking for. That's right. So there are things that we need to learn about the tafsir of Quran. Now, tafsir, which is apart from obviously, as I say, if you know the Hawza, but in the world of Islam, when it goes especially the Sunni school of thought, in fact, tafsir is the main topic for them. So when they want to talk about Islamic studies, definitely tafsir is one of them that they have to learn. You do not expect somebody in the Sunni school of thought to become a sheikh, the proper one, not the ones that they go for like a couple of years to just do tabligh and all that. That's different. But the proper Sunni Islamic alim would definitely learn a lot about tafsir. And that's the area that both from the Hawza perspective in Shia, we know that there is a weakness there. And that's why in the recent decades, in the last 2-3 decades, the ulama that were expert in the field, but just selectively, they started having classes regularly, they started teaching people. When you go to the time of Allama Tabatabai, which is the author, who is the author of Al-Mizan, he was unique in his time. First of all, Second, he didn't have many people in his classes. Like, he wasn't teaching people like sitting like what you see nowadays. Some of the classes, there are quite a few people sitting there. There were like few people going to his class, and those were very top students of Allama, that people who studied a lot of years and many years in Hawza. And out of those, you have somebody called Allama Jawadi Amali. So Ayatollah Jawadi Amali, he was an exception. So that's why he wrote a tafsir, or he taught a tafsir that became a book. And I saw recently they published, I think the volume 85 or something of that tafsir. The tafsir of At-Tasneem. So Allama Jawadi Amali has written this book of Tasneem. The tafsir he taught basically became a book. It wasn't like he wrote, Bismillah, he's writing a tafsir. No, he taught tafsir and they wrote it down and made a book out of it. Of course, his students that are doing those things, they are expert themselves. I know some of his students, they are Ayatollah themselves. His students, he's got lots of students that they are Ayatollah themselves. They are at the level of, being marja themselves. That's how high they are, his students. So the unique people like him, then yes, they did something. But majority of people went to Hawza, and the outcome was that they knew very little about Quran. They knew about Quran usage of in many places. They knew very well in their field how to use Quran, those verses. But if you ask them to Bismillah, open Quran and tell me what this ayah means, most of them say, look, I don't know. I've got to go and read, or read from the book, see what it means. This is the area that we really need to work on it. And we can see the weakness nowadays in our Quran teaching, because if you really want to get something out of tafsir, you have to go to the source. You have to go to these people who are expert. Like Allama Jawadi Amil, why is he called Allama? Because he's faqih, he's mufassir, he's philosopher, he's arif, he knows, he's got all those knowledge. And each of these things that he gained them during years and years and years. Like, he taught high level of Arabic for 30 years. At the same time that he was doing tafsir and everything, he was teaching very high level of Arabic. So be expert in the field, really knowing what's going on. For a Muslim, I think is, for all of us, one of the biggest shame that we could face is that somebody comes to us and says that, look, how many books do you have as a Muslim, like Islamic, religious, holy book? Which one is it? How many is it? If you go to a Christian, they say, we've got the Bible. So where's Bible? The Bible, show me the Bible. And they say, okay, this is the Bible. So this is it. I said, no, actually, the Bible, the many, many books called the Bible. The Old Testament, the New Testament, you gather them together, there will be numerous books that they call the Bible. So if you ask them that this place in the Bible says this and that, they may just say to you, look, I don't know. Something like that. And I think you'd be, it's kind of justifiable. You'd be very apologetic, and basically you feel sorry for them. They say, look, fine, it's okay. You don't know the whole Bible, it's okay. Because it's just not something that you expect them to know. On the other hand, when you go to Muslim and you say, where is your holy book? They say, this is our book. Any other book? No, this is it. Are you sure? Yes, that's it. So how many verses do we have in Quran? Roughly? 6,200 and something. That's right. It's 6,200 and something. Okay, there's a book. Maybe, I don't know how many pages. Is there? About 600, something pages is Quran, Uthman Taha? 602. There we go. So 600 pages of these pages, which is not very big. Each page, on average, you've got like maximum 10 ayahs or something in the long version. And the small ones, obviously, they're something like that. And if somebody says this in your book, this is written, this is said, at least we should be able to say it's there or not. Okay? So sometimes if somebody says, well, read me that ayah, I say, look, I'm not Hafid. I'm not somebody who knows Quran by heart. I don't know every single thing. But as a Muslim, I should know this is in Quran or not. If somebody comes to you and says like your Quran says this and that, you should be able to say if it's in Quran or not. You should be able to say, I've seen some people, sometimes they come and they've heard something which is related to a very weak riwayah, very weak narration. And they say, yes, we have in Quran this and that. And it's enough if you find somebody who wants to pick on you and says, look, that's not in Quran. And the moment they say that, they shut your mouth. You want to defend your religion, they shut your mouth. You don't even know your own book. What do you know about your own book? Nothing. You don't even know what is in it, let alone being like memorizing it and knowing the whole thing by heart. Forget about that. So I'd say memorizing Quran is very difficult for most of people. For younger people, it might be easier. You might be able to do it. Your mind is free. You might have more time. You'll be able to do it. I remember I was at age 13, 14. At the time at school, the Quran teacher said, whoever memorizes Surah Al Imran, Surah Al Imran is 200 verses. I will give him full mark for one of the terms, which is you have 3 terms. One of the terms, I give him full mark for the Quran. So I was just like so committed. And after a short while, I went to him. I said, look, you know, the exam is in 2 weeks for the first term. I think I'm not going to be ready by then because I memorized 80 ayahs. And he was just looking at me. He said, you memorized 80 ayahs? I said, yeah, I memorized 80 ayahs. Do you want to check me? And he said, okay, read. So I started reading and he checked me in different places. And he was surprised himself. He thought, I say something, who's going to do it? No one's going to do it. And the 200, you know, people are busy. But I was very committed to do it. And I did it in a short period of time. I think, can't remember, maybe in about 4 or 5 weeks. And later on, I tried to, anyway, so that was the 80 ayahs. I think I made it to 100, and that's it. I didn't have time after that. I got busy because the year goes on first. The start of the year, you got time. Lots of other topics. And I never managed to memorize the whole surah. Later on, I attempted memorizing the rest, something I did in few weeks. And I attempted that God knows how many times. I couldn't do it. It was every time hitting something. Every time we started, we hit something, we stopped. We went Surah Al-Baqarah, we started, we memorized 100 ayahs or something, and then we got again something, this stopped. So in my life, I tried memorizing these big surah, the first, especially 2, 3, like the Baqarah and Al Imran. It's very important if you memorize those because it's, sort of your peak. When you go up, then you can move. Otherwise, you're just always struggling. But because of lots of factors, and not many of them actually are justifiable, I think, we couldn't. All right. I agree with anybody who says memorizing is hard. I agree with them because I tried many, many times. Yeah, I know other verses, other places, but knowing the whole Quran from start to the end by heart, no. But I cannot justify somebody comes and says, okay, you don't know the ayah, but you should at least know what this is about. You should at least know if this particular thing that I'm saying to you is in Quran or not. You should know if your Quran has certain, for example, Arabic literature points that are different to the normal Arabic. Do you know those? Do you know Hajj Abbas? The way you're looking at me, I was thinking, should I pick on you? It's true. There are points in Quran that they are special. They are not the usual Arabic grammar. And we don't know, most of people don't know. So it's enough for somebody random who went online nowadays, and you go to YouTube or one of these AI things and they say, give me the things that in Quran is not based on the Arabic literature or something like that. I'm sure it would answer you. I haven't searched for it, but because they've written books about it. So-called like mistakes, they think. But the reason those people don't understand and think that was a mistake, or some people came later on, they said, you know what, actually this was changed during the time, and it was like that. And they didn't know. Actually, it wasn't changed. Because you need another level of literature to understand those things. There is the knowledge of tafsir for a reason. But nowadays, if you go and open a Quran translation, doesn't say anything about it. Even if you open many tafasir, not one, open many. You open and you go to that part because somebody just came to you from non-Muslim background or not from the sect that you belong to or whatever. They said something to you and you go and open Quran and you think, oops, I don't know the answer. I don't know why. And then that problem starts. Then you've got to go and search online. If you find it, if you don't find it, can you answer it? Can you not answer it? So it's very important for us to get familiar with Quran. And of course, another reason nowadays for our time is that we're getting close to Ramadan. And inshallah, in Ramadan, our focus in Quran is even more. So with that introduction, anybody has any questions, any point here? So far? We're good? I'm really sorry, I have to apologize to ladies. We've been saying it for many, many years, and perhaps even more recently, that we want to have a little partition here in a way that ladies can come and sit and talk here, sit there, but that has not happened. So we beg the managers of our center to do something for the ladies, so ladies can come and sit maybe in this area. Just put some partitions here. I think we'll be sorted. Inshallah, we can sort that out. Despite that, if they had any questions, they can just give us a shout and we'll send somebody, or they can even open the door and ask. Now, there are different types of tafsir. When you want to do tafsir of Quran, depends on how you look at Quran, you may have different type of tafsir. Sometimes you want to understand the depth of the literature of Quran. For that, of course, for any type of tafsir, you need the literature, the Arabic literature, very well, to do tafsir. For understanding tafsir is even for understanding what the tafsir is saying, sometimes you need that. Because if they come and they explain a point that is about Arabic literature and you have no idea what's going on, you're not going to understand it. You just dismiss it. I think it's good if somebody can write a tafsir, and maybe one day we could, because we've been struggling even to do translation, let alone if we write tafsir. A type of tafsir that is for people who are foreign language, like let's say in English, number one. Number two, they're not into the depth of the literature and all that because they cannot really comprehend. But it gives them the points that are important in understanding that verse. So those things are, inshallah. I'm not sure. Is there any, Hajj may know, is there any? No, unfortunately. Now, before going to the actual topic, so we said one is tafsir and one is the way you look at it. You can put different translations for that. What are those things that you look at tafsir? One is, as we said, literature. The other one is, for example, if we want to look at Quran with the topic that is related to the belief system, which is called ilm al-kalam. So there are lots of topics there. Topic of oneness of Allah, for example, the topic of the prophets and proving the points, and lots of things like that. Of course, the verses of Quran, they have different topics in them. So you need to be good in different topics and perhaps interested to understand what's going on. Sometimes Quran is speaking about things that are purely logical. Sometimes Quran is speaking about something that is sort of outside touch, outside our reach. So we cannot really understand. When Quran says this is kursi, in Ayatul Kursi, then you just have to accept it, because we don't know what kursi is. When Quran uses a particular simile and you can say analogy, for example, let's say in the ayah of Nur about Allah Tabaraka wa Ta'ala, we have to get that name, that word, even if you translate it, but understand that that word is not for there. That's not the thing that we understand in our own language as nur, as light. It's a different light. It's different thing. So we have to understand it that way. So there are many different things. Sometimes is you use the tafsir for matching things, and we did one of them. I think we did it here just recently. One matching we did about Fatima Zahra Salamullah alayha. If you remember, we did one of the matching. So you match one ayah to a situation. Do you remember? Everybody was here? I can't remember. You were here, yeah? So that ayah had different components in the ayah. Allah Ta'ala says, when you got this and this and that, this is going to be the results, and this is the reason for it. Then you can match that with different situations. Yes? That's another way of looking. And of course, people can look at what we call Ayatul Ahkam, for example, which is more fiqh. People want to learn Quran, the tafsir about Ayatul Ahkam. What's going on, the things that in Quran has been explained. Or the ones that they have used in Ayatul Ahkam or in Ilm al-Usul, which is the principles of jurisprudence. So this is what you see. So when you get a tafsir, you have to understand where this tafsir is coming from. So for example, some of tafsir, they call them, you say tafsir, they say tafsir riwai, tafsir riwai, al-riwai. Riwai means narration. What does it mean, tafsir riwai? To wake you up, I ask you to give some answers as well. What's the meaning of tafsir riwai, Sheikh Hassan? Yes. Yes. That's right. So tafsir riwai is based on riwayah, based on narration, of course. The name is on it. Now, what are the good things about tafsir riwai, for example, you can mention? What's the good thing about it? Somebody can mention that. One good thing about the riwayah. If you are doing tafsir based on the riwayah, what's the good thing about it? Somebody's already explaining. So if tafsir riwayah, you're right, you don't have to think much. You just get what is there. So it's good for somebody who doesn't want to think. But what's the bad thing about tafsir riwayah? Yes.
People can change their ahadith and attach them to other verses.
Is how authentic that riwayah is. Now, if we are saying, so in tafsir, you want to match the information that you have with that meaning, with that ayah. That information sometimes comes from logic. So it's logic. Don't need to fight over it. Logic gives it to you, and that's it. Everybody agrees on logic. Either that logic being the knowledge of logic, which is ilm al-mantiq, which 2 + 2 is 4, for example. You cannot fit a big thing in a small thing. You know, these basic things that everybody understands. You've got those conclusions that you've got in Ilm al-Mantiq. You've got something called Kubra, something called Al-Sughra. Al-Kubra and Sughra, you put them together, you conclude. You get natija, you get conclusion. So the basic things, yeah? So you get something called, for example, I forgot the English words for these things, but there were some words for that I remember. Once when we were teaching Ilm al-Mantiq, remember, years ago. So we got the English words for Al-Kubra. Premise? Oh, major premise and minor premise. That's right. Good one. Thank you. So I forgot all these English words. So yes, you've got something that you conclude in the Ilm al-Mantiq, in the logic. You say every time that the sun comes out, the light comes out and becomes day. The sun has come out today, so it is the day, like now, for example. And that is the first one is the Kubra, Al-Kubra, which is the big statement that you make, the general statement. Not big, we should say it's general, the general one. And the second one is the situational one. The small thing is the situation, the example. And you match that example to that big room and you conclude. Basic, what they call this first type of conditional questions in Ilm. In Quran, full of this. Lots of places, Quran says the same thing. But sometimes you see something like we said, Al-Kursi, Al-Kawthar. What's the meaning of Al-Kawthar? Yes, you can put two and two together and say, look, the ayah is saying at the end, Inna shani'aka huwa al-abtar. Then you say, it must be something related to a person who was blaming the Prophet ﷺ for not having a descendant, for example, not having a lineage. You can relate it somehow. That's logical. But what is it about? Then you can think, maybe you get to the conclusion that is Fatima Salamullah alayha, Al-Kawthar. But not always. There are many things in Quran. Sit there and think about it for the rest of your life. You're not going to understand what is Alif Lam Mim. You won't know. What is, for example, Al-A'raf. Quran says something, it's about what A'raf means, or who are the A'raf. But you cannot just understand it from Arabic. You read in Arabic, go to read it in the actual root of the word and all that, put them together. You have no idea what the ayah is talking about. So Arabic literature here does nothing. But the riwayah, the narration, can help. However, the problem is that the riwayah is not always authentic. Now you've got something in the riwayah, the ilm al-hadith, or the one they call hadith, what diraya. Diraya is another part of hadith to know which one is correct, who is who, and ilm al-rijal, who is the narrator, those things. So these are related, these three knowledge. So you go and read about the ilm al-hadith and you find out some of them are authentic, like the very authentic, like what we call hadith al-mutawatir. That has come from different roots to the same thing, fine. You all have heard of these words. You've got the other side, there are ahadith that they call them khabar, the khabar that is wahid, or they call them the akhbar that are ahad, which means there are not many of them. One topic, but not many of them. What are you going to do with this? Are they authentic or are they not authentic? Because it's part of the tafsir riwayah. You've got to understand if this riwayah has come about this ayah, is it authentic or not? One of them is called tafsir, as the khabar, the hadith called khabaru wahid. The hadith is something that in that topic you've got couple, which that's it. You don't have more than a couple. Just have a few in there. Not many about that. 2, 3, 4, 5, something like that. Not many. So what are you going to do about it? Are you going to trust it or not? See what is your idea. Pick your brain. Would you trust when the topic you've got, let's say there is a topic in understanding what's the meaning of a word in Quran, an ayah of Quran, or what is it about, but in that field you just have few narrations, that's it. What would you do? Trust or not trust? That is a question, by the way, not to be or not.
You see them narrating it and seeing their relationship with Ahlul Bayt alayhim salam. If they have a negative relationship with Ahlul Bayt alayhim salam, you follow it.
Okay, so Sheikh Hassan says, if I look at the person who's narrated it, the narrator or the narrators, and I see there that these people are people who had good relation, that's how you say it, good relation with Ahlul Bayt alayhim salam. Or they were like the Sahabi of Ahlul Bayt, the companion of the Ahlul Bayt alayhim salam, then you trust it. Okay? Alright, so that's the point. Anybody has different opinion? Okay, so if you are looking at other verses of Quran and you see this, I suppose when you say matches, you want to say is not against them. That's what you mean, because it wouldn't match because it's about a different ayah. But you look at another verse of Quran and you realize that the other verse is saying something that is against this hadith. Then you say, forget about it. As the riwayah says, فَضْرُبُوهُ عَلَى الْجِدَارِ, throw it. It's useless. Okay. You shouldn't find, so I'll make it easier for you. You shouldn't find anything against that riwayah in hadith or logic or Quran. These three other basic sources. But what about the rest? What would you do with the rest? Accept it or not accept it? What shall we do with these ahad, as we call it? The ahadith that are not very popular in that topic. There are not many of them. What would you do? And do you know anything about the difference in opinion between the ulama, between the mufassirin? Do you know anything about that or not? I'll make it easy for you because the time is passing. In this topic, we've got three different opinions. There are people who say, of course, if the khabar wahid, if this hadith in this topic is authentic, it's true that there are not many of this type of hadith, but itself is authentic. There's nothing wrong with it. The chain of narration is correct. The topic, the content is correct, is not against anything else. There are certain conditions. What are those conditions? In fact, they give you usually 4 conditions. One, as we said, the chain of narrators. Second is the content that is not against something else. Third, you've got to establish that when the Ma'asum alayhi salam said this, wasn't doing taqiyya. There's no obvious a reason or another, let's say, hadith or occasion that shows that this was said while the Ma'asum alayhi salam was doing taqiyya, because they wouldn't come and kill him. He had to say, yeah, it's about this. Or is that ayah about Imam Ali alayhi salam? He knows that there's a spy from the government waiting to see what he says to kill him. We'll make an excuse to put him in jail. And he says, no, maybe not. It's about any mu'min. Yeah, for example. Then you can say, we've got tens of hadiths that we know that in this situation Imam alayhi salam was doing taqiyya. So that is not something to trust. I'm just going to bring these occasions. Oh, some of them. Anyway, so 4 things that you have to consider. The ruwat, the narrators, the actual ayah with the content is for what we say, not being against other sources, other narrations, and of course, as we said, the 4th one is not to be in a situation that is taqiyya. Okay, either from the narrators or from the actual Ma'asum alayhi salam. So when you got all these conditions and you got something that is called khabar wahid, you still trust it. There are 3 opinions here. Some people say despite this, we still can't trust them. Like, for example, some people say you can trust it in certain aspects, not in everything. Like where do we in Shia, where do we trust khabar wahid? Do you know where actually ulama often in Shia they trust khabar wahid? In what topics? In fiqh. In fiqh we trust them. Yeah, because we don't want to change our belief based on that. Maximum thing is that somebody says to you, for example, saying Subhanallah walhamdulillah wa la ilaha illallah wallahu akbar 3 times is wajib. Okay, you said 3 times. It's all right. You haven't lost anything. You're still done. And the other person goes based on another riwayah and says, is, for example, 1 is wajib. We don't have evidence that say 3 is wajib. Okay, you haven't lost anything. Or they say, for example, when you are reciting, you've got to recite the full surah in salat that is wajib. You've got to recite the full surah. You can't do like Ahl Sunnah, they do even an ayah. But in salat mustahab, in nafila, we can do it. In nafila, Shia can do it as well. We can do, let's say, part of surah or 2 surahs. We can do 2 or 3, as we do in Salat al-Layl. When it comes to Salat al-Witr, you do 3 surahs, for example, often, as a routine people do. Tawheed, Mu'awwadatayn, Falaq and Nas. Yes? Am I right? Or you do in Salat al-Ghufayla, in the Nafila, you do part of just basically an ayah or 2 ayahs in one version. 1 rak'ah. You do 1 ayah or another 2 ayahs. That's okay. So the one that comes to you and says, look, I think you should do full surah and that's it. You cannot do half or different sort of thing, the version that. So they're saying at the end you haven't missed anything. You've done the secure one, you are okay. But if somebody comes to you and says that your belief here is under question, you say, what's that? This ayah means that tawassul is haram. And another one comes and says, this ayah, we got narration that says is wajib. Hey, what am I going to do here? Is it wajib? Is it haram? Am I committing shirk? Or am I doing exactly what I'm supposed to do? Which one? And these things which are related to our i'tiqad and belief and understanding of the core of the religion, you cannot just trust one hadith or 2, 4, 5 in that field. You need numerous things. You need a lot of information to believe and trust and act upon that. So some people come and say in tafsir is the same thing. You cannot trust it, even though they believe the khabar wahid is authentic, is reliable for certain things. Like marhum Shaykh al-Tusi. Marhum Shaykh Tusi is from our big ulama. He believes that khabar wahid, the ahadith that are not many, they are trustworthy, but not for tafsir. When it comes to tafsir, you can't trust them. Like Allama Tawatabai, the same thing. He was saying the same thing. He said that you cannot trust khabar wahid for a tafsir. Unless you bring in something for, like, prove the tafsir from something else, and that comes and gives you a little bit of assurance. That's different. Or the other person called Allama Sha'rani, he's got a tafsir called Manhaj al-Sadiqeen. He says the same thing. But there are some of these ulama that they say, no, it's okay. You trust this hadith, what's wrong with that? Like who? Like Marhum Ayatollah Khuy. Ayatollah Khuy, Rahmatullah alayh, he believed, no, Khabar Wahid is fine, you can trust it. Or from after him, somebody called Ayatollah Ma'rifat. Ayatollah Ma'rifat was somebody that he wrote a very important book about tafsir and questions regarding Quran. And that became like a text in many universities and Hausa classes. And he believed the same, very similar to Ayatollah Khuy. And a little bit of modified version of it. And in fact, the students of Ayatollah Khuy after him, he went for the the modified version of his opinion, which was Ayatollah Marifat. So some people believe that that's okay. Also, we got the third version of the belief, who is from Ayatollah Jawadi Amuli, that we talked about him in the tafsir of At-Tasneem. So he comes and he separates. He says, look, we've got 3 types. Inshallah, we say this and then there's got to be adhan. We've got things that are related to jurisprudence, to fiqh. Those ones that you, for example, you say, we want 70%, 80%, we know that's correct. So, okay, fine. Act upon that, who cares? It's okay. Nothing happens. Like the ones we say. He says when it comes to tafasir of those verses, you can trust that. Second, it comes to the things that are related to belief. Belief, you got 2 types. That's what I tell you I'm narrating. The first one are the ones that you have to have those, you have all the 3 conditions, these 3 conditions that he says. One is that we know for sure that has come from Ma'sum, or most likely. The other one say is about this ayah. And third one is that this does actually conclude what we are saying. Like when you say this ayah is narrated from Ma'sum alayhi salam, sometimes people do it. They say this ayah has been, this narration is about this ayah, but actually when you go, and this is sometimes trick, when you go and you find out, you realize this narration has nothing to do with this ayah, it was for something else. In that topic, it meant something, and it made sense. But about this ayah, it does not make sense. Where are you using this word? Like, and I give you this one. We got more time, don't we? Or is it adhan, that's it? Is it the right time? Ah, okay. So I'll give you this example as well and then finish it. You know, after the Surah Tawheed, it's mustahab to say كَذَلِكَ اللَّهُ رَبِّي وَكَذَلِكَ اللَّهُ رَبُّنَا. They say somebody heard of this, that this sheikh was, after his surah, he was saying this. He didn't understand that it was just after Surah Tawheed, not after any surah. So he was reciting Surah Al-Kawthar, and when he was saying, Inna shani'aka huwal abtar, and after that was saying, Kadhalika Allahu Rabbi. And you know what it means. For people who understand Arabic, he was saying that his Rabb is abtar. That's how he was saying, Kadhalika Allahu Rabbi. Inshallah, we all pay attention. I know the topic is heavy. I gave you that introduction to justify, I'm going to make you tired. But inshallah, all the effort you make, there is a reward for it. Sallu ala Muhammadin wa ali Muhammad.